This project has completely taken over my life. And if you know me and any of my previous games,
this is insane. This is the work of a madman.
You'll know exactly what I mean. This is my first devlog for Glyphis.io BBS, the Proxy tapes, 1989. A hacking sim set in an alternate 1989 Japan where you boot up a state-of-the-art PC and dial into an underground world packed with coding puzzles, social engineering, cracked games, and a story that will stay with you long after you log off. It's part hacking sim, part adventure, part ARG. I am loving the process and I would like to invite you on the journey with me. So, are you ready? Let's begin. Imagine Animal Crossing meets War Games by way of Strange Days, set inside a cozy atmospheric 80s apartment where coffee-fueled mornings and late-night ramen-slurping keyboard sessions take you on a voyage into hacking, pirate radio, social engineering, retro gaming, and quiet rebellion. My aim is to explore world building combined with creating a simulated environment that pulls you in and never lets go. Taking inspiration from the games of Zachtronics and other games like Hacknet, Uplink, and the bulletin board systems of the late 80s that sat just a few steps before the dawn of the internet. You'll meet a group of hackers who slowly integrate you into their crew as you crack coding challenges by breaking the copy protection on banned games. With their help, you'll patch into forbidden pirate radio broadcasts, listening in for new BBS numbers to dial, each one offering its own unique glimpse into the complexities of this world. You'll social engineer your way into schools, mainframes, and government systems, and slowly, challenge by challenge, this group of hackers will become your found family. The experience begins with you looking through the eyes of a stranger in their bedroom as they sit at a computer, connecting to an underground BBS for the first time. Now this creates what I'm calling a double fourth wall. You've got the reality for you, the player, watching the game unfold on the screen and interacting with it. Then you have the player's actual character doing exactly the same thing again. It's a really weird thing, but it sets the mood and immersion really well. I think it's something that you're gonna love. Your new family is the underground group called Glyphis.io. They welcome you, give you tasks, and before long you become part of the furniture, with a slightly sinister twist. Now I'll reveal more about that rabbit hole towards the end, but let's first dive into the engineering. Now I'm a sucker for technical detail, provided that that detail delivers endless depth to a structured narrative. First, the computer had to be black. Black and rad. Think the green screen 386s from the 80s, but with the Gundam anime flair of the Sharp 68000, a machine the Japanese never actually released outside of Japan. I also tracked down the PC of my childhood. This is the Fujitsu ICL Indiana. It's a Pentium 166. Not as sexy as the Sharp, granted, but it did have that black look and the hidden potential for being naughty with it. Now this aesthetic completely mirrors the narrative. Dark, intelligent, and Japanese. I merged that black PC look with Pioneer amplifier gauges and modern KRK rocket speakers, turned teal because that's my favourite colour. With the look established, I sent the mood board that I'd created into Midjourney to let it cook. Immersion is massively assisted when the world within the game continues actually outside of the player's frame. So I cut out a window and made sure that it's always raining outside. I layered water on glass video behind the cutout, added a Japanese blind with translucent sections so the droplets show through, then used Premiere Effects to add traffic lights behind the rain and dropping pink and purple spotlights to mimic neon billboards. The display reads your system clock and shifts between day and night, and I set that to Tokyo sunrise and sunset times. So it always shows the correct time and date, but it's hard-coded to 1989. But making multiple videos run at the same time without the frame drops, that was a headache. The solution? 3 versions of the same video, 6 in total, each categorized as low, medium, or high based on motion. If the system detects lower frame rates, the background switches to less movement. The player never sees jerking because there's nothing moving. The switch is a simple blend, and it's totally undetectable. With the main scene created, I was ready to build what sits under the hood. Now, I love virtual consoles like Pico 8 and Voxatron. There's something about a computer within a computer that just grabs me. It's like a dream within a dream. The imagination Joseph White put into Pico 8 and all those restrictions is just inspiring. Aesthetics mean nothing without function, and this machine had to make sense for the world I was building. I needed something simple to code, but powerful enough to handle serious audio and graphics, so I designed it as a single accumulator processor with assembly language reminiscent of the 6502, which is the chip inside the Commodore 64 and the original Nintendo Entertainment System, but it's taken in a completely different direction. Instead of juggling multiple small registers, everything flows through one wide 16-bit accumulator. Now, if that sounds like complete gobbledygook, here's the Explain Like I'm 5 version. In old computers, the chef had lots of tiny bowls. They were constantly moving a pinch of salt here, a spoonful of sugar there, and trying not to forget where they put the pepper. With this design, the chef has one giant, powerful mixing bowl. Everything goes into the bowl. Add something, it goes into the bowl. Change something, right there in the bowl. Because it's twice as big as the old ones, it holds much more information at once, so the chef doesn't keep running back and forth to the pantry. It's like having a super-powered blender instead of 10 different forks and spoons. Faster, simpler, harder to mess up, which makes this chip perfect for audio streaming with minimal interference, which is absolutely essential to the way that I want the narrative of this game to go. The Bradsonic 69000 is part technical idea, part story driver, part poetic license. Easy to code, plays awesome games, and is online enabled straight out of the box. It's 1989's first 16-bit computer running as a simple 8-bit machine with the power to be your one-stop shop for a breathless multimedia experience. For the hacking challenges, I constructed an IDE that lets you see the code you're working on while receiving information node by node from the hacker setting the challenge. Need help? Type help. Want to consult a manual? Press F4. This is the game's staging area. Visual feedback, lots of digital pats on the back if you get things right, and several options if you get stuck. Nothing is too taxing, and it's all accessible. When looking at similar games, the DOS commands in Hacknet felt a little too simple and too networkery. The future noir of Uplink, as cool as it is, has little variation in its presented state. I loved those games, but they didn't have everything that I wanted all in one package. This game has basic assembly language programming, modem fixing, communications tapping, and social engineering. I think that makes this game super unique. The first real challenge in the game is getting your sound card online. Now, this enables you to breach radio packets and stream audio data, a massive part of the story's progression. It's a simple coding challenge where you send bytes to certain areas of memory. Then, at the moment of completion, the music of rebellion rings out of your system, and the coding dopamine hit feels as if you just created Stuxnet and brought down a nuclear weapons factory all by yourself. It's awesome. For the music, I start how I always start, with a whistle. I wrote the lyrics, recorded sounds from FL Studio, sampled them into Suno, and requested vocals like Ian Curtis of Joy Division.
In the flash that swallowed Hiroshima Castle, a dynasty.
Now, I know a lot of you have problems with artificial intelligence, and I totally, utterly understand those grievances. But as a creator myself, this is making things a lot quicker for me. I do create music myself, I do code myself, I do create artwork myself. So I'm putting all of those original ideas into these creation tools, and I'm getting stuff back that's enhanced based on the things that I've already put in. I love it. I think it's great. The entire project runs in Python, Pygame for the window and media, maths and OS for everything else. But, like a real computer, games come from other programming languages and libraries. To make this believable, I decided to write the main games within the game in C++ and have the Python code launch them into the Bradsonics monitor. After bypassing the copy protection for a banned game, you're introduced to a series of AAA games from that era, all fictitious but equally ambitious in scope. The first is Astrominer. Now, I built this entirely in C++ using Raylib, a library created by a college professor to help students with little programming experience. It's brilliant for creating 3D games with basic textures at amazing speed. Astrominer is inspired by the mechanics of Elite, the 3D environment of Hard Driving, Hunter and No Second Prize, and the Control I/O, Rendering and Gravity of Lander on the Acorn Archimedes, written by David Braben, a total hero of mine. You use your ship to mine for precious materials deep in the Orc Cloud and return to one of 3 bases to sell your goods, buy upgrades and socialize at the bar. What I'm working on now is a cyberpunk train simulation akin to A-Train on the Commodore Amiga and kind of similar to games like SimCity and Transport Tycoon, but with a much more cyberpunk kind of feel. People love cyberpunk in this era, so there's going to be a lot of cyberpunkery games, and Cybertrain is one to definitely look out for. I'll feature it in the next devlog. I'd love to hear your ideas for games, so please do leave them in the comments. That's as far as I've coded, and I am genuinely happy with how it plays and feels. And crucially, it's something I would want to sit down and play myself. Keeping that simple truth front and center feels like the right fuel to carry this over the finish line. Projects like this don't run on inspiration alone. They take months of steady effort, problem solving, and pushing awkward parts through to completion. Reading your comments and feeling the genuine love you have for the games I make matters more than I can put into words. It keeps me moving forward, so please keep them coming. It means a great deal. Okay, still here? All right, okay, good. Spoiler alert. This is the game world that you're going to experience. It's 1945. In our world, 2 bombs fall, Japan surrenders, and something extraordinary happens. The Emperor remains. His voice reaches the nation through what's called the dual voice broadcast, not as a call to war, but as a command to endure, rebuild, learn faster than everyone else, complete through technology, discipline, and progress. That stability becomes the spine of modern Japan. And by 1990, it stands as the world's 2nd largest economy. But in this world, in the world of the game, history slips. The bomb still falls on Hiroshima. Hiroshima Castle, a temporary imperial residence, is destroyed. And in this timeline, the entire imperial family is there. That single absence changes everything. There's no voice to unify surrender, no cultural keystone to hold the nation together, power fragments, certainty evaporates, Japan surrenders. But without an emperor, the center can't hold. So America steps in. The last bloodline of the ancient shogunate is installed as a figurehead ruler. A familiar face with no real power, Japan is rebranded, reorganized, and absorbed into a new identity. The American Pacifica Isles. What follows is a quiet economic extraction. The companies that should have defined the late 20th century never come into being. No Panasonic, no Yamaha, no Toyota. Instead, American corporations flood the entire region, reshaping industry in their own image. Intel, Motorola, Texas Instruments, with no domestic resistance and a fully exposed market, computing evolves down a very different branch of history. Then comes the land grab. Vast Silesia deposits are discovered in Mongolia, America moves fast, supply chains tighten, processing accelerates, and by 1989, consumer technology has leapt far ahead of anything we can recognize. 500 megabytes of RAM sits inside a home computer, Panasonic never existed, Brad Sonic does. And the hackers? Well, they're not chasing high scores or cracked software, they're activists, saboteurs, broadcasters, smuggling banned signals across pirate radio waves, preserving language, art, and memory in a system designed to erase them. You begin on the edges of this underground, just another terminal, just another connection. At least that's what you think. The narrative won't last hundreds of hours. I'm aiming for something focused and powerful. My goal is to release the game for under $10 so it gets into the hands of those who will want to learn coding, engage with a compelling story, and hopefully get inspired to start creating themselves. Right now, I'm building more cracking challenges, more games, more of the world, and more of the OS. The game is on Steam right now, set to coming soon. The link is in the comments, so give it a click and wishlist it if you're interested in knowing when the game gets released. Now, I'm not very keen on DRM, so I will be listing it on GOG and itch.io if that's possible. I'll let you know. Itch has a limit on gigabytes, and GOG you've got to apply for and do a pitch and everything like that. It will definitely come out on Steam, but I will look at GOG and I will definitely look at itch.io as well. I really believe that people should own their games. And of course, subscribe here if you want to follow the journey. It's gonna be a wild ride. Likes, comments, and shares really help to get the word out, so thank you very much in advance. please pop a comment in. I'll reply to everybody. It really does help the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers. Thanks. Ah, yeah, that went all right. Nice one. Yeah.